Today I'll continue to talk about basics of JMRI and will show you how you can have a lot of fun using computer to control your layout and trains even if you do not have a very sophisticated setup. Hello and welcome to Trains and Dioramas. My name is Interlocking Chatterjee, and if you have been following this channel in recent days, you know that I am now covering various topics related to DCC and computer control. Now I cover various topics related to model railroading, diorama building, various other miniature projects. So if you're a person who likes miniature art, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so that you can take part in my adventures of making miniatures. In my last video, I showed you how you can connect your computer to your Digitrax command station using RR circuits, loco buffer USB, and then control the turnouts on your layout using JMRI. In continuation of that, today I'm going to cover basics of various important and essential topics within JMRI. Today I'm going to show you how to create basic panels, interlock your turnouts, create basic routes, and last but not the least, how to program and run your trains directly from JMRI. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, now that we have our three turnouts listed in the tables, what I'm going to do is I'll represent them in a quick layout panel. So let's go to Panels in Panel Pro and go to New Panel and click Layout Editor. And this is where you'll see the power of computer control, how it really comes alive, and it really is not that difficult. So what we're going to do here, the objective is that we'll create a quick representation of this little layout here. So as you can clearly see, we have two right-hand turnouts and one left-hand turnouts. So the first step is going to be adding the turnouts in the layout editor. So let's add the two right-hand turnouts we have on the layout, 101 and 103. Now to add a turnout, select turnout here, the right hand, RH, hold the shift button down and left click on the screen where you want to place it. So that places the turnout. And we need another left-hand turnout here, so that is 102. So click LH and again hold the shift button down and click on the screen, right? So we have the three turnouts on the screen. So the next step is going to be to orient our turnouts in the right way. So we need to rotate the turnouts. So first, you see this big round here. So keep your cursor anywhere there. Right click and then you have this rotate option. So let's rotate our first turnout, that is 101. I mean, we haven't assigned the addresses yet, but I will be using that as 101 to let's say 30 degrees. So yeah, so as you can see, I have rotated, I mentioned minus 30. So some reason, I don't know why, the positive rotation actually needs to be marked as negative in JMRI, and negative one needs to go as positive. So it all depends on frame of reference. I just don't know which frame of reference they use. Then let's select the left-hand turnout. That will be 102. Right click again, rotate, and this time we are just going to rotate it 180 degree just to make sure that it's just, yeah, that's it. And 103, the other turnout, also will be rotated 180 degrees. Good. So now the turnouts are pretty much in the right orientation. So let's go ahead and make the layout. So the first thing, to move a turnout, now you have to keep your cursor anywhere in the circle and then right click and then drag. So the right click and then drag, that's important. So again, so let's reposition our turnouts. Alright, so next is connecting the tracks and to actually create lines here. So for that, let's zoom in a little bit. So first we are going to create the crossover. So connect the straight track of 101 and the diverging track of 102. So for that, what you need to do is keep your cursor on one of the points, hold shift, and then left click and then drag. The moment you left click, you see the red circles are lighting up. So when you click go near one, you will see that it turns to green. The moment it turns to green, release your click, and that basically connects a dot. So that creates a track segment, right? So next, let's go ahead and align our 103 as well. And this is going to be a pretty small layout. So let's rotate 103 a little bit so that it's a straight track. And once you start working out, sorry, this to be so I want again to do this. I want the diverging part of 103 to be aligned with 102. So move it a little bit. Yeah. So again, hold Shift, select one of your track, and then just join. That's it. And you don't necessarily have to be. If you want to move any of these points, again, right click and then you can move them. Yeah. So the last one to add is the diverging of 101 to the straight of 103. So again, hold Shift down, click, see green, and connect. Alright, so to make it look a little like a control panel, so what I've done is I am pulling this a little further here so that the two tracks are parallel, and then this one I'll go ahead and extend a little bit. Now you can play around with this as much as you want, and we are not going to spend a lot of time because the objective is to show you how we can really control the layout from this view. Alright, so the grid is a little distracting, so before we proceed, let me go ahead and turn that off. So in the grid options, just remove show grid, so that sort of keeps it much cleaner. So yeah, it doesn't really look a lot at this point, but that is fine. So beautification is something we can do later whenever we feel like the primary objective is achieved. So the next step is to assign each of these turnouts on the graphics our turnouts from the table. So right click on edit. So this will bring the edit turnout option here. Now first turnout is LT101, so that is our 101 turnout right here. Select that. And then click done. So now this is showing normal. As you can see, the track is aligned to closed. Now click on this circle again, right? Oops, sorry, the power needs to be on. So click on this circle again. You see the turnout is moving. So now you can not only control the turnout from the turnout table, we can also control the turnout directly from this panel itself, right? So let's go ahead and assign rest of the turnouts as well. So click edit 102, yeah, click done, and then assign turnout 103, click done. That one is also normal. So as you click on the circles, see how the turnouts move. So now we have connected this panel directly to the layout. Now at this point we can do some really cool things. So and that is interlocking, and without doing anything sophisticated. Now, as we have discussed, if you remember, that these two turnouts, 101 and 102, they actually form a crossover. Now, it's always a good idea, whenever you're designing a crossover, that both the turnouts are interlocked. So, depending on the position of one turnout, the other turnout should be thrown accordingly. So let's see how we can do that here. Now right click again on 101 and click edit. So right now turnout LT101, there is nothing else is mentioned here. And now let's check this box, also throw turnout, and then select LT102, right? So now based on whenever turnout LT101 is thrown, the LT102 will also be thrown accordingly. Now there is one option here that says that invert second turnout. Now this is important for us. Why? Because as we have discussed, if you recall, I just mentioned, the closed or normal position of turnout 101 is actually a diverging route to turnout 102 and vice versa. So for this purpose, we're going to go ahead and select this invert second turnout. Yeah. Then click done. So let's see what happens now. So right now we have the route selected here, right? So both turnout 101 and 102, they are in their own independent path. The crossover is not activated. So let's go ahead and click turnout 101. And now you can see both the turnouts are moving together. So the route immediately changed and selected the normal path for 101 and diverging for 102 to activate the crossover, and exactly it replicated on the layout as well. So now, just like how throwing 101 affects 102, let's see if throwing 102 affects 101 as well. So let's go ahead and throw that. So exactly, there you go. So now, anytime you want to pass a train through this crossover or in their independent route, all you have to do is click either of the turnouts, and both the turnouts are interlocked, and the trains will not, or rather, the basic safety measure for the crossover is already in place. How cool is that? Right. So the next important thing, of course, is for you to save the panel. So you just hit save, and then I already have it saved here, test layout 2. I actually have one before that as well. So yeah, make sure that you save your panel before you get out of JMRI. Now here is a very important and a very cool feature really. So right now, as you can see, we are through the crossover on this track. However, 103 is aligned to the siding. So now let's imagine a scenario where I am actually using the throttle to change the switch position. So go to 103. It's right now closed. Let's throw. Now see, it's real-time change in your panel as well. So irrespective of which switch you throw, so let's say I'm going to switch throw 101 because the locomotive is in that line. I just go ahead and right now it's closed. Throw. You see, even the interlocking of the crossover, even that is real time, irrespective of where you're controlling the turnouts from, whether it's from your computer or from your throttle, once you have programmed it in JMRI. Now, once you have your turnouts all interlocked, especially in situations in like in a crossover or a siding that interferes with the main line, the next step is to set routes. Let's consider this line going all the way there is the main, and so this basically is the main. This is my siding, and let's say this is one of the industry fork out there. You can control the entire main line as one route. So let's go ahead and do that, and you'll see some of the benefits, or great benefits, of setting routes, and how easy it is to control your layout using simple routes controlled by turnouts. All right, so let's add. You can give a system name. I provide, just mention automatically generate system name. I'm not going to give any username here at all. So say I am going to include only 101 and 103. Now 101 already controls 102. So I will just control 103 using 101, and since 101 already controls 102, that will set the entire route for me. So let's say when 101 is closed, 103 is thrown. So because you need 103 to be in the diverging route to get aligned to what we are calling as the main line. Yeah. Now, so then all the way below, so we don't really have any option to add any additional trigger because we do not have any block detection or anything like that. However, we can still use the same turnout 101 when it is closed to go ahead and change turnout 103. So let's give it a few milliseconds. Let's say 10 milliseconds to see some difference. 10 is too small. Let's give it 100 milliseconds. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and create this and see what happens. Now, the other thing that I want to do is, let's see if this is saved. Yeah, so this one is already set. So the other one, let's go ahead and give this a name. So this is main through 101. So let's call it main through 101. Yeah, update route. So the next one, let's call it siding through 103. Now, what I'm trying to set is that when 103 is set to the siding, that is this line, 101 will automatically change. So again, I am going to go ahead and select turnout, turnouts to be included, 101 and 103. So when actually in this one, I will simply select 101 and mark it as thrown. Yes. However, I am going to trigger that when LT103 is closed, right? So I can just trigger 101's behavior, one turnout's behavior by the other, that itself sets my route. So let's go ahead and create this as well. So right now, it's a good idea to go ahead and save the entire set to configuration as well as the panel. So, that's the easiest way to do it. So every time you save these changes to the panel, when you load the panel, everything else in the tables automatically gets loaded. So that, I find it the easiest way to deal with. All right. So now let's go and see how this whole thing works. All right. So now, as you can see, all three turnouts are aligned to the main, right? So let's go ahead and change 103. Now, by changing 103, I actually moved 101 as well. So now the siding is through, and this part, the main line, is not accessible at this moment. So let's go ahead and align this to the main line again. So again, as you can see, because I threw 101, 102 was thrown automatically because it's interlocked, and 103 was thrown because I set the route based on the status of 101. So another extremely cool and helpful feature, to consider for you to control your layout and run your trains. Now that I can control my turnout pretty convincingly from either my throttle or my JMRI panel, the next thing for me is to be able to run a train or a locomotive. So in order to do that, first I have to create an entry in the roster. So it's pretty straightforward. In Panel Pro, go to roster and hit create entry. Now once you do that, you will be presented with a complete list of all mobile decoders that are in existence at the time of the release of this particular version of JMRI. So, depending on what you are dealing with, you go ahead, select the manufacturer, expand the plus sign, and you just get to see everything that is there under one particular manufacturer. So I am going to use my Broadway Limited Imports Paragon 2 steam locomotive. It's a 280 consolidation. Really doesn't matter for JMRI. All it needs to know is which manufacturer and what type of decoder. I have selected steam and then hit open programmer. Alright, so in this particular section you provide all the necessary details of the locomotive. So the ID, you give generally the road number 1199, the road name, this is New York Central, road number is again 1199, and you can continue filling out whatever you feel necessary for your locomotive. You can also set a limit for the throttle speed. So right now it's in 100%. If you want your train to run only at 80% of specific throttle speed at any point of time, or 50% or whatever it is, go ahead and put that in there as well. You just hit save to roster, and then your roster entry is created. Now before you can go and run the train, there is one last thing that needs to be done. So you go to the basic tab, and you need to enter the actual address of the locomotive. So I am using a long address, that is a 4-digit address, and I'm going to go ahead and put 1199, which is the road number as well, and that's it. So again, you go back to roster entry and you save to roster. Now there are some other cool things that you can do right at this point. So you can you can go to roster media and upload a particular image of the locomotive so that it's easy for you to understand which one you're talking about, especially if you have a big roster of locomotive. You can also take a look at the basic speed control or the speed table control, so you can select whichever you want to use, and we will look at that real quick. But right now all I'm interested in is to go ahead and run the train. So save everything, save your work before you close the window, and once you're done, go ahead and close it. Alright, so once you're done with adding all the details for your locomotive, click on roster, and when you go to roster you will be able to see your locomotive's entry right there. And that is it. That's where you start controlling your locomotive. So you select on the locomotive, and then on the bottom right hand corner you see throttle. Click on throttle. There you go. There you have your full control of your locomotive. So let's go ahead and run some trains. So let's go to our layout. So in layout, so right now the line is basically aligned on this side on the fork. So let's align to the main line using the crossover, right? So now let's go back to the throttle. Let's take our locomotive forward. Awesome. So let's unmute the volume. Aha, here we go. So steam locomotive in its full glory, for sure. So now this is absolutely cool, guys. I mean, honestly, just a weekend's effort, really nothing extraordinary. And I can just control my layout totally, my locomotives, my turnouts, everything right from my computer. So let's take the siding back again. So reverse. Let's go a little bit. This time let's go a little slow. So let's hit the bell. Oops, we haven't changed this turnout. Let's go ahead and align that as well. Let's stop the bell. And long whistle. Awesome. So, as you can see, now I have full control of my layout as well as my trains right from my laptop. I do not have to touch my throttle or anything else. Depending on how many locomotives I have, I can create as many throttle as I want. I just go ahead and create a new roster entry, and for every locomotive you're going to have your own throttle. So you just put them on the track, pick up that throttle, and just run train. So this itself, if you ask me, so let's mute our 1199. So this itself, if you ask me, is a pretty big advantage. I mean, this itself, and there are many people who are just happy with just this much of functionalities and ability to control a layout and their trains from their computer. Now, before we close this session, there is one really important thing to talk about. That is all the work that you have done saving it. Now, of course, you can go ahead, and we have already seen how to save the layout or the panel. However, that itself will not suffice. So all the details that is there in your turnout table or any other tables that you have, that needs to be saved as well. Now, there are two ways to do it. So you can either store configuration only to a file. So when you do that, you can just, for an example, right now I have this switch table XML created. You can, create the different or based on your layout, you can name it accordingly so that it's easy for you to find. As you can see, I also have a roster saved here. So whatever work you do, they need to be saved. For the switches and signals, there is also another option that you actually save or store configuration and panels to a file. So if you select this, then everything comes to this test layout 2 in my case, and every time you open the panel, you will be able to see your turnouts. Now, not the other way around. So for an example, right now, if I go back and start my JMRI, I will not be able to see my turnouts unless I open my panel, right? If I don't save this separately as well. So just a quick note, never forget to save your work before you quit JMRI, and that's really important. There is another important item that you should start considering the moment you progress in JMRI and go beyond the very basic setup. That is going to be what JMRI should do when you start up, because otherwise, every time you start up JMRI, you have to go and manually select or open your panel, open your tables, and whatnot. So there is in the preferences section, and let me do that again so that you can see it properly. In the edit, go to preferences section and go to startup, right? And here you can add what needs to be done as soon as JMRI opens up. Now, it clearly shows that scripts should be run last in most cases, but yeah, the scripts are way advanced for our users. What we are going to do right now is we will start with open our files. So let's open switch table XML first, since we already have it, then open roster, then open test layout, right? So that for our current setup should give us everything that we need to start with. Let's go ahead and save this and restart Panel Pro. So let's see if this takes effect. Well, as you can see, Panel Pro started with everything. That's it. So now as you start, you can see your panels, and you know, if you open your table, you will be able to see your turnouts as well, right? All right, so one important thing is that if you go to the table as well as to your panel, you'll notice that the turnout positions are not remembered by JMRI. Now, the reason is we haven't set that in the option. Now, that is a little advanced topic, which, you know, in the coming videos, I'll definitely cover that in detail. As of right now, you can just simply, you know, click on the turnouts or your, you know, panel here, and automatically you will see the statuses, the current statuses are known. So yeah, right now, as soon as I click, it reads the current status, and it also shows in the table here. Well, so clearly I'm guilty of providing you with a lot of information within a very short amount of time. Believe me, I couldn't contain my excitement when I realized what you can achieve by connecting your computer to your layout. Even if you have a very basic setup like mine, where the accessories are run on DCC bus as well as the locomotives. So let me ask you this. Do you now think that adding a computer to your model railroad is a natural progression, irrespective of how complex or simple your layout is, and provides a much more ease, flexibility, and better user experience? Or do you really think that computer control is just another gimmick that you don't really need unless you have a really complex setup? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. Even as far as basics are concerned, we still have one more thing to do. In my next episode, I'm going to show you how you can connect your smart devices to JMRI and then can use your smartphone or tablet to control your layout. As far as computer control is concerned, I believe I'm just scratching the surface. There are a lot of exciting days ahead where block detection, signaling, and even full-on automation is on the card. So if you're interested in computer control for model railroading, make sure to subscribe and follow this channel closely. Until next time, happy railroading.